Spain doesn't look like a housing crisis. It looks like sunlight, busy streets, balconies, cafes full of life. From the outside, it feels impossible that people could be locked out of housing here. And that's exactly what makes it so brutal. Because the crisis doesn't announce itself with broken buildings. It announces itself with silence. No reply, no callback, no viewing, no key. In Spain, the housing problem is not only high rents, it is what high rents do to power. They turn shelter into a contest, and contests have losers. You notice it when a listing looks normal, but behaves like a disappearing act. You message and wait. Someone else messages and wins. You try again and again. Then you finally get a viewing, and you see the line. Not angry, not loud, quiet. A hallway full of people holding documents, people standing like they are waiting for a verdict. Because they are. In a tight market, renting stops being "I choose this home." It becomes "Please choose me." And that is the first humiliation. You have to prove you deserve a basic room. Pay slips, contracts, references. You become a file, a number, a risk score. And even if you look perfect, you can still lose. Because scarcity does not reward need. It rewards certainty. The applicant who can move fastest, pay fastest, say yes fastest. That pressure changes people. Renters stop negotiating. They stop asking questions. They stop complaining about problems. Because when there are 10 people behind you, your life feels replaceable. And once you feel replaceable, you start living carefully, smaller, quieter. Now the crisis moves inside the home, not through luxury, through compression. In Spain, small space living is not a trend for many people. It is a forced adjustment. A loft bed is not a lifestyle choice. It is what happens when your room has to become a bedroom and a living room at the same time. A wall desk is not minimalist design. It is the only surface left where you can work without sitting on your bed. Storage walls are not aesthetic. They are evidence. Evidence that the space cannot hold a normal life, so your life has to fold. People do not choose this because it is fun. They choose it because the alternative is not bigger. The alternative is losing the address, and the address matters more than people admit. Because once your housing becomes unstable, everything becomes unstable. Sleep becomes lighter. Work becomes harder. Relationships become tense. You stop planning in years. You plan in lease terms, in renewal dates, in how long you can hold on before the next increase. And Spain has a pressure point that makes the unfairness sharper. Spain is not only a place people live, it is a place people come to. A place where housing can be pulled toward short-term stays, toward seasonal demand, toward temporary contracts that keep life uncertain. So ordinary renters are not only competing with other renters, they are competing with a calendar. When housing becomes more profitable as a short stay than a long stay, stability becomes the weakest bidder in the room. And that is why, across Spain, you keep seeing something that looks like anger, but is really fear. Demonstrations against tourism, marches in multiple cities, people warning that their own communities are being priced out, not because they hate visitors as people, because they can feel the math. More demand, less long-term supply, higher pressure on local wages, and local wages lose. So what is happening underneath all of this? Not slogans, not blame, just forces that repeat. First, demand concentrates where opportunity concentrates. Jobs, universities, transport, and services. People need to be near the same places. And when too many people need the same neighborhoods, housing becomes a choke point. Second, scarcity turns speed into power. The fastest yes wins. Hesitation loses. And when people can't hesitate, they can't choose properly. They grab what they can because the alternative is being erased. Third, housing shifts shape under pressure. When long-term renting gets hard, housing doesn't vanish, it transforms. Room-by-room rentals, seasonal leases, medium-term contracts that look legitimate but feel like instability. And renters pay the emotional price of that transformation. Because when your contract is temporary, your life becomes temporary too. Fourth, uneven enforcement creates uncertainty. Spain's housing reality can depend heavily on regions, cities, and local capacity. So protection can feel different from place to place. And nothing is more stressful than uncertainty about shelter. Now comes the question every crisis creates. What is the government doing? Here's the part that makes frustration sharper. It is not that nothing exists. Spain has a framework that allows areas to be declared stressed housing zones. In those areas, extra rules can apply. There have also been pushes to close the loopholes that turn housing into a workaround machine. This includes measures aimed at stopping room-by-room renting from becoming more expensive than renting the full apartment. Because when each room is priced like a separate business, the home stops being a home. It becomes a marketplace inside a single door. There have also been plans to tighten the use of seasonal and medium-term leases so they cannot be used as a permanent substitute for stable, long-term renting. Then there is the tourism side. Authorities have pushed harder on registration requirements for holiday rentals, increased inspections, and targeted illegal listings. There have been major crackdowns in some areas, and even high-profile penalties for platforms tied to unlicensed tourist rentals. There are also plans to expand affordable housing supply, including faster construction methods designed to speed up delivery of social housing. On paper, it sounds like movement. But renters do not live on paper. They live in outcomes, and outcomes are slower than pressure. A framework does not remove the crowd in the hallway. A crackdown does not instantly create long-term homes. A plan does not protect you from being priced out this month. So renters end up living in the gap between policy and reality. The gap where rules exist, but the market still behaves like a machine. And in that gap, the emotional reality stays the same. You still feel alone. You still feel replaceable. You still feel like the city is moving without you. So people adapt. They move farther out, then farther again. They accept longer commutes, less privacy, more roommates. They turn living rooms into bedrooms, bedrooms into shared spaces. They build life on top of compromises, and each compromise feels small until you realize the truth. A life made of compromises is a life that never fully belongs to you. That's why the crisis in Spain feels so heavy. It's not one dramatic moment. It's constant pressure, a constant message from the market. Pay more, live less, be quiet, be fast. And if you can't, step aside. So here's the ending that should sit uncomfortable. If a home becomes something you have to compete for, against a crowd, against a calendar, against a market that moves faster than your life, what happens to everyone who keeps losing quietly while the streets still look perfect from the outside? Subscribe to follow this series, country by country, because this isn't one place. It's a pattern.